Hey, this is Ben again for doing my Record Store Day review for the Popcast channel. This Record Store Day is a special event record stores do every year. Sometimes they do it twice a year, just kind of depends on the industry, what's going on. This happened on April 20th of 2013, obviously this year. I got to give a big shout out to the Sound Exchange, which is the local record store. Again, like 6 minutes away from my house, down by the mall, and they do it every year. Sound Exchange has an awesome staff. They only have two people working. They have the owner and a good friend of mine working there, and every year. They get everything done. They get all the special stuff ordered. The Record Store Day apparently is a huge pain to a lot of the independent record stores that host the events. So, it's definitely something that the record stores don't necessarily make a lot of profit on, but they love doing it because they're so entangled in the industry. So, let me start by kind of telling you what Record Store Day is. Like I said, it's a special event where record companies put out special editions of certain vinyl CDs. They do a lot of picture discs. They do a lot of releases they haven't done for a while. And I'm going to show you what I purchased this year and kind of give reviews on what I purchased so you can kind of see what Record Store Day is all about, and hopefully you'll get involved in it in the future if you're really into music. So, I want to start with the worst one first. Now, you're going to be thinking, like, Ben, you're a huge Stooges fan. Why are you knocking this? But I'll tell you why. Okay, this, I know you're probably seeing differently than I am. This is a Stooges 7-inch of the song No Fun. You can kind of see, it's kind of in a bad light. It's a red and orange tie-dye vinyl. The Stooges are on the A side doing the song No Fun. On the B side, the Black Keys are doing the song No Fun as well. Here's the problem. I've heard the song a million times by the Stooges. I love the song. I'm not knocking Iggy or anyone involved with the Stooges. This cut, however, is bad. The vocals are spot on. Iggy's vocals are dead on correct. But the guitar is like a half step up from what it originally is. And it's not just on the A side, it's also on the B side. So I put on the 45 speed and I noticed my needle started to skate, which is always a bad sign. That your album's a bad cut. So I was like, well, maybe it won't affect the sound, but I could tell immediately it affected the sound. Same on the B side. So it's just a bad cut. I'll probably be emailing Warner Brothers about it. I mean, I'm not going to cry a river over it. It was only $8. But yeah, it's definitely something where it's like, I wish it could have been a little bit better. But yeah, it's a cool looking 45. I'll give it that. And I love the Stooges. I like the Black Keys a little bit, but yeah, I bought it. That was one of my two impulse buys, because they have stuff everywhere at the Sound Exchange for you to look at on Record Store Day. Very limited supply of these items, but they do have them. Now, I'll go with my second impulse buy, which is a Bob Dylan Wigwam A-side and the Thirsty Boots B-side. Thirsty Boots is a previously unreleased song. I'm pretty sure I have it on a bootleg anyway, because I've heard the song before. Really good. Like, there's the back of it there too, if you want to see it. Columbia always makes quality stuff. That's the record company Bob Dylan's been on forever, since the start of his career. And yeah, Wigwam. It's now actually the Wigwam's it's an unreleased demo, but I've heard the song so many times. It's on I believe Nashville Skyline. Don't quote me on that. It might be on something else, but I think it's on Nashville Skyline. So, really good song. The Thirsty Boots B-side is pretty good. I mean, it's Nashville era Bob Dylan. Um, I'll get more into Bob Dylan later. I'm a huge Bob Dylan fan. So, yeah, I really liked it. It was a good impulse buy. It was $7, so definitely not too shabby on that. Excuse me. So, now I'm heading to the things that I specifically wanted Sound Exchange to get. Um, every year, the Record Store Day people release a list of what's coming out on Record Store Day. And you can attempt to pre-order some of this stuff through your local record stores. It's kind of hard because the supplies are so limited. Sometimes they press only 2,000 or so copies of some items. So it's definitely hard to get at first, but keep pressuring your local record stores to try and get you these items if they can. If they can't, just try and go and see what you can get, because sometimes they might have the items anyway. This is something that I definitely wanted to pre-order. It's a Misfits 45 with the song Skulls on the A side, and on the B side, it's a really cool picture too, picture disc. On the B side is a band called the Lemonheads doing the same song, Skulls. The B side is super creepy. If you've ever heard the song Skulls before, it's pretty bad. So, not vulgar in language, but vulgar in content. Um, the A side, of course, is the Misfits. It's very punk rock. It's very fast. The B side, the Lemonheads doing it, is an acoustic cover, and it's super creepy. If you've ever heard the song and you're thinking like, oh, acoustic might sound bad, definitely give it a listen on YouTube if you get a chance. It's super creepy. It's way creepier than the original version, which is cool because if you know what the song's about, yeah, you'll know what I'm talking about. I won't get into what the song's about because obviously it's pretty bad, but I bought it because I grew up listening to that song a lot because I was a huge Misfits fan. Okay, moving on now. David Bowie picture disc. It's a 45 of Drive-In Saturday. This is also something I ordered. The B side is also a picture disc. You can kind of see Bowie's face there. Both sides are Drive-In Saturday. The B side is like a dance mix of Drive-In Saturday. So, it's very cool. I love the song. I love the Ziggy Stardust, Aladdin Sane era, David Bowie. And this is originally on the album Aladdin Sane, which is really good. And yeah, like, I got this mostly because the picture was so good. I mean, that's an awesome, awesome picture disc. Definitely my favorite picture disc out of everything I have. And we're going to move on to the last thing I bought. It was the hardest thing to get, according to my friend at the Sound Exchange. Not a lot of other independent record stores were getting this item. I wanted it because the lead singer, Steve Malkmus, the guy that made this, was in a band called Pavement in the early 90s. And Pavement is really, really good if you've never heard them. If you're into like psychedelic kind of grunge, kind of soft rock, they do all kinds of stuff. They're really good. And Steve Malkmus does solo stuff now. But he did this. He did a cover version of an album by this guy named Can from Germany. I have no idea how to say the name of the album. It's Egg Bamyasi or something like that. And the only thing I knew about the album going into it was Steve Malkmus was going to do a cover of an album that he liked. And I was like, that's cool, I'll probably get into that. And apparently this thing is harder to find. Like, if you go on eBay right now, I paid $30 for it. It's going for close to 60 to 80 bucks. And yeah, that's an insane price. It's a green vinyl. I won't get it out because it's so big. It's a green clear vinyl. It's really cool looking. The music because I'd never heard of this guy from Germany before, is like acid jazz. And I love Steely Dan. I love any kind of music like that. And it sounds like more modernistic Steely Dan, which is awesome. I love that. But apparently this album was originally made in the 60s. So that kind of gives it a different perspective. It's really cool. Highly recommend like looking up the original album because it's really good. Because I've been getting into it as well. Um, yeah, it's really, really good. If you can get this version, maybe as an MP3 file or something, definitely recommend checking it out. So that covers everything I bought on Record Store Day. And like I said, um, if you can get into Record Store Day, it happens every spring. They also do one on Black Friday, which is obviously the day after Thanksgiving. Um, Sometimes they do it then. They've been doing it recently. I bought a Dream Theater album last year, a double album of uh, not images and words, scenes from memory. Sorry, one of my favorite Dream Theater albums. So if you ever get a chance, definitely look into that. Um, and like I said, this stuff's in very limited supply. So if the record store can't get you everything, don't be super upset. Check out stuff on eBay because sometimes people will put moderate prices on these, and it won't be insane prices like I was talking about the Steve Malkmus album. That's all I have on that, so we'll just leave it at that.